The jury could begin deliberating tomorrow morning in the murder trial of Karmelo Anthony. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. The defense rested today. Anthony's defense team is trying to convince the jury the teenager acted in self-defense when he stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest at Frisco ISD at a track meet. Metcalf did not survive. Fox 4's Amelia Jones was back in the courtroom today. She's got the latest from McKinney. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, now that the defense has rested its case, it's worth remembering that the burden of proof still rests with the prosecution, meaning did the state present enough evidence to prove their claim in opening statements that the act was a, quote, senseless murder. The defense called a total of 6 witnesses, and Karmelo Anthony did not take the stand, a decision that likely weighed heavy on the 19-year-old, his family, and legal team. Monday, the defense called 3 witnesses to testify in the murder trial of Karmelo Anthony. 2 were minors, students who were present at the track meet that day in April 2025. Anthony, 17 at the time, is accused of murder in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf after witnesses told police the two got into a physical confrontation. Anthony's defense team maintains he acted in self-defense. The first witness described the track culture to the court as more casual than football, and it wasn't unusual to talk to people on other teams. This witness also told the jury Anthony was crying and seemed distraught after the stabbing. The other student was asked by the prosecution to demonstrate the physical contact he saw between Metcalf and Anthony. The defense also called a Frisco police officer to the stand.
That testimony was very short. During that testimony, the detective simply said that he does not recall or did not recall whether or not there were any items in the deleted folder on Eddie Parra's phone. On cross-examination by the state of Texas, he was asked, did you thoroughly go through the phone? Detective Riley said yes. Bree West is a criminal defense attorney and former Dallas County prosecutor not involved in the case. Eddie Parra is a Memorial High School student who testified on Saturday that he was the person Anthony said hi to underneath the memorial tent. A few witnesses testified Parra took out his phone, seemingly to record a video, but there was no evidence found of a recording. Monday, after lunch, there was an unexpected 2-hour break that created a nervous energy in the hallway outside the courtroom. West says Anthony's legal team might have been discussing whether he should take the stand. But you have to take into account, whenever you're asking your client to testify in their own defense, how are they going to come across? How are they going to be able to stand up on cross-examination from very seasoned prosecutors? Is their story going to get lost?
West believes the defense made the right call by not calling the now 19-year-old to testify in his own defense. When court resumed, the defense rested its case.
I think that the right decision for this defense team was that we've put enough out there, we've sowed enough seeds. Let's let this jury make a decision.
Judge John Roach told the jurors to come back to court Tuesday morning with an overnight bag, just in case they need to be sequestered to a hotel during jury deliberations. Before the jurors left the courtroom, he made a point to tell the panel not to look at social media.
I think the judge was exactly right. Please, for the love of God, stay off of social media, because this particular trial, unlike many trials, is not live streamed or televised in any way, which leaves room for social media to make it up.
Monday, lawyers also discussed with the judge the charging document that will give instructions to the jurors. West says this is a point where the defense can ask for self-defense or a lesser charge of manslaughter to be considered in the instructions to the jurors. She emphasized the decision on what's included in the jury charge document is solely up to the judge.
Most of the time you're going to see that if some amount of self-defense was raised during the trial, a judge is going to err on the side of caution and include it. And I think that probably based on everything we know about this trial, we're going to see manslaughter in that charge as well.
The jury charge document tells jurors what laws apply, what the state must prove, and what options they have when they deliberate. West says the judge will read the written jury charge line by line, then head into closing arguments. Court is set to resume tomorrow at 9 a.m. Heather, Steve?
All right, Amelia Jones live tonight. Thank you.
And you can follow the closing arguments and jury deliberations tomorrow on fox4news.com. We'll also bring you breaking news coverage once the jury reaches a verdict online and on the Fox local streaming app.